It doesn't have aircon, it doesn't have power steering, it doesn't have ABS, it doesn't have electric windows, it doesn't have a CD player, a lot of things that it doesn't have. Yet, VW said, the only threat to the Golf 1 is this car, the Golf 2. Why that is, why it's so lovable, we're going to discuss in this video. We'll look at the interior, the exterior, and the engine. There's got to be something about this.
A shame, think something new under the sun. You can't take back them things you already done. No. You blame things that you do on somebody else. No. But they all see is you need help. But still you.
Now perhaps some of you guys are thinking, where is the W124? It's standing in the garage, right opposite to where this car is standing. This belongs to my friend Max, who's also my neighbor. And perhaps some of you guys have had that experience. You meet with like-minded people that just love cars. Although I started this channel about 2.5, 3 weeks ago and I had no idea where exactly it was going, it seems that it's going in the direction of cars roughly between the 70s and about 2010. I just find that it's so refreshing to look backwards into the past. As somebody once said, the most beautiful cars have already been made. Where did the story start? Now you see, the thing is that back in the 70s, up till then, we had the VW Beetle, which was an amazing car. But there was a bit of a problem. You see, people were starting to find it a bit too small, unpractical, not safe enough, not good for families. It doesn't have 4 doors and there's not a lot of space to put your luggage. Plus, it wasn't very economical. So they had to make a plan and redesign it. Eventually, they came up with the Golf, which they weren't sure if that's going to actually cut the cake in being the new Beetle. But in trying to create a successor, they basically created an icon. The really crazy thing is that VW had such success with the Golf 1. They sold 7 million of the damn things. Just to give you a bit of a comparison, the W124, in all the variants, I think it sold about 2.74 million worldwide. About 2.2 or 2.3-ish million were the W124 sedan, like the black one that I have. But 7 million worldwide of the Golf 1. This car, it had to really live up to the game, and it did. But what exactly did they change on this model? We have the iconic front VW nose with the lights and the grille. As a matter of fact, almost the entire front looks like the Golf 1 that we used to know. But once we start moving towards the rear, that's really where things change. Let me show you this. Here we can see the distinctive shape difference, especially towards the rear, where you had the very squarish old VW Golf. Here they made it slightly larger. You can just see this rear shoulder that grew quite a bit. They had to give the people more space in this car. And what's really interesting, in doing a little bit of research, you see a lot of them compared the space and the features of this car to that of a BMW 5 Series of the time. It was actually, I found a very, very old training video that was sent out when they launched this Golf 2. And it was just incredible on how many points they laid some value to sort of differentiate it from the Golf 1, but also to tell people, hey, we as VW made quite an extensive effort to create a really, really good car. Probably the predominant thing that they've changed on this car is the anti-corrosion. I grew up in Namibia and in South Africa, and the Golf 1 rusted like crazy. It was also in South Africa the most frequently stolen car. It cost you in insurance roughly about the same price at some stage as a BMW M3, a E36. Depending on which model you got, they did a couple of other things. A VW gave us quite a mouthful of models to choose from. Golf C or the CL, which was your comfort luxe. Those were your very basic models. Then you had the GL, which is what we have over here. It's the next step up. It's sort of your mid-range. We have a couple of more creature comforts. They used really good materials on the inside. They said better quality plastics, some of them with a bit of a soft touch. The interior just looks, I'll show you guys in a couple of minutes. It's so nice inside of this car. A couple of additions here, the fog lights and so on, and also it had better dampening, which made it a more comfortable ride. Then you had the GT, which was basically This model, but it had more trimmings from the GTI, but not the engine. Then you had the GTI, which had the engine. Then you had the GTD, which was the GTI without the engine, but with a peppy diesel engine. And then you had the Synchro. Did anybody ever have a Synchro? Any one of you guys out there? It was such a fantastic car. Nowadays, they just add a bit of skirting on the side and then call it the Cross model and the Overland XX and the whatever. It's basically the same car, maybe a centimeter higher, but it's useless. The Synchro was a full-on off-road beast. Then they actually had a country version as well. And then they had, in German you say Sondermodelle, which are like very special models. They came in different size, shapes and colors. The main thing that VW did with the Golf 2 was improve on the things that didn't go well with the Golf 1. We knew that it wasn't the safest car around. They've put in a lot of strengthening into this car to make it safer. The biggest thing I think that VW did was to give families a greater prospect of a car that's going to serve them. They gave them more space and more comfort. And I'm sure with the GT and with the GTI models, there was even a greater standard of quality. But then you had a stiffer suspension and perhaps a more firm ride. And also it was very pricey. With this, you had the best of both worlds. It wasn't that expensive, but it would give you a lot of the perks without becoming uncomfortable. We're going to get into the interior and look at that in a minute, but I want to show you one more thing at the back. This was one of the things where they really wanted to hit the points. Ta-da! They especially kept this outside line pretty wide, and this was probably for being able to then put bigger things in there, so it wasn't too narrow. I still think though that it's a bit difficult if you have something heavy and you need to sort of put this into this bucket. Just look how deep this base actually goes. See the added touches of quality here with the carpet. I really dig this. I love the fact that they have the sort of brown color code over here. It looks really cool. All in all, a very, oh crap, hang on. I decapitated the dog. You gotta have one of these inside of your old-timer. This was the bathe in goodness that I was talking about. I love my Mercedes interior, but this brown suede feel that they have here is incredible. The brown carpeting that they've used as well. Just the texture. It's not quite Mercedes quality, but it is a Golf. And that's the thing. You still have so much space. Ow. The front, yeah, right, you got so much space. That was just this. The front seat is adjusted for my ride height and also distance to the pedals. I'm 183 and above my head as well. Is really for a Golf, and for that time, I think it's a stunning interior. The material on the inside of the doors and the various brown accents with this silver line over here. It looks like leather, it isn't, but it's just the touch. It's the fact that there's this variation of materials. Gives you the impression that somebody thought about it and said, I think that's going to be a really nice touch. Let's put that in there. People are going to like that. You have simple adjustments for the seats, nothing to pull out like you have with Mercedes, but then I can't compare this with a Mercedes and say that it's good or it's bad. It's in a different class. By the way, we never spoke about this. This car cost you, the GL, around about 20,000 Deutschmark. The W124, as a matter of fact, I have the original sales contract, 52,000 Deutschmark. This is less than half, but just because it was aimed at a different market. And that doesn't make it worse. Let's check out the front. This is equally stunning. You gotta love this interior. There's something about Golf that's always been the case, at least with the Golf 1, and I noticed it the moment that I got into this Golf 2, and that is the fact that you sit extremely high. Now there is the option for height adjustable seats, but this is the lowest position. That is the highest position. It's very, very high. I love sitting really low down. Sort of gangster. Some of the models did give you rake and reach. This one didn't. The steering wheel is in a fantastic position. I love the wheel as well. The keyhole is behind this fat part of the steering wheel. So every time I try and put the key in, I can't find the hole. You basically need to turn the steering wheel like this and there you go. There are a lot of hard plastics. You can see it over here as well, especially later on in the years when they start scratching. But again, I really appreciated that they took the time and the effort to actually add this sort of the look of the hard plastic so that it resembles leather. And these ones are hard, and these ones are soft. This is soft touch. Then you've got black rimmed air vents over here, and the other ones are then again in brown. The little strip here, black with a bit of chrome on it. And then even the button to open up your glove compartment is in black, the keyhole in silver, and the rest again in brown. Here, the accents of brown and of black. It feels like they made a bit more effort, and I suppose that is the sweet spot of the GL. It was about that added little bit extra. Fact that you got color-coded carpets in here. Your door sills have a different color, but it really looks like an ashtray. And I know it isn't because it's carpeted. That wouldn't work out well, would it? Here's your ashtray. Again, such a nice touch. Opens, pulls out. Very cool. I'm going to make a video, like one of those ASMR videos. And the indicator noise of this car is extremely soft. Very quiet. Just go. That has been our little in-depth look into the interior and the exterior of this Golf. There's one more thing left that we want to look at, and that's the engine. And we've got a horse coming through the picture. Hallo, das ist ja schön. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I remember seeing these engines just like this during my childhood. You were still able to teach somebody the basics of mechanics purely just by opening up your hood and pointing at things. Nowadays, there's a big cover, and that's about all you're going to see. This here is the 1.6 litre, developing around about 72 to 76 horsepower. A full-blown 128 Newton meters of torque, and that of course riding a 5-speed gearbox and driving the front wheels. I'm going to do a drive with this car in the next video, and then we'll talk about just how it feels to drive a classic like this, how it feels to sit in this cocoon, this time capsule of the late 80s. Because although these cars were everywhere when I grew up, nowadays it's just become something really exceptional. It's become something beautiful, not just to behold, but also to appreciate, because it's from this bygone era where things were simple yet full of character. I've been filming now for 37 minutes, and the video is not 37 minutes long. So many people are walking past here and have started talking to me about the car. One person wanted to buy the car. A lady on a horse told me, what a nice car. People really appreciate this. It's exceptional. The real value, it's here, all right, but I think mostly it's in here. It's the synergy that happens. It's the relationship that we've built. It's the fact that we're driving a car of our parents or of our grandparents, or one in which we grew up. Thank you so much for joining. If you enjoy these kind of videos and you want to see more, then of course you're very, very welcome to subscribe. I would be super, super honored. The cars that you grew up with, let me know some of the stories that you've experienced. And also, since we are looking at the older cars, perhaps recommend some cars that you think I should try and review or try and get a hold of and put them out onto the channel. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
A shame, think something new under the sun. You can't take back them things you already done.